I just was like, I was like, this is turning into too much crap to try to collect on this MASH until you want. So I'm glad it worked out.
It did, perfectly. Well, my name is Gina Bilioti-Madison, and I'm the Executive Director of kNOWledge. Can you imagine being told that you needed a transplant or you're going to die? You need a transplant or you're going to die. My dad, Tony's in the back there, sitting there, and he was told that, I don't even know how many years ago, probably 5 years ago, because he just celebrated his 5-year liverversary in March. So my dad has been overweight pretty much his entire life. Type 2 diabetic, told at most of his doctor's appointments, right, he had to lose weight. Didn't really think much of it. So about almost 10 years before he found out that he had that he had NASH and cirrhosis, he was told that he had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. He didn't know what this was. He didn't think it was a big deal. He would go to see his doctor regularly for checkups, about every 6 months, for about 9 years or so. And these appointments, sometimes his doctor would mention fatty liver, sometimes it wouldn't even be mentioned. My dad thought it was no big deal at all because the doctor just said lose weight, eat better, just very general advice. Knew nothing about it. He would do some, research online, Dr. Google there. Anything that he did find was very confusing. It wasn't informative. So he really just didn't think it was a big deal. He sometimes relates this to when he was diagnosed with diabetes. When he was told he had diabetes, he generally knew what diabetes was. He generally knew how he got it. He generally knew what he had to do about it. But when he was told he had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, none of that. So my dad, fast forward, his non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So when you have a regular liver, when your liver is healthy, it looks like this here. As the liver continues to get more damaged, this here is scarring from cirrhosis, and this here is a tumor. So my dad's liver disease progressed from this nice healthy liver all the way here where he got a tumor. So he was told he had non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, which is NASH. Our organization is kNOWledge because we are focused on raising awareness and providing education and knowledge about NASH and about fatty liver disease. So my dad was told he had simple fatty liver disease that then progressed to NASH. It then progressed to non-alcoholic cirrhosis, and then it progressed to liver cancer, and he was ultimately told, if you don't get a transplant, you're going to die. And you can just imagine what that feels like when you're told that because you're thinking you have this disease that really isn't a big deal. So my dad was very, very blessed and very fortunate. He got this life-saving transplant almost a year to the date that he was told that he had liver cancer. So he was just so blessed, and as he was really reflecting on this entire journey, this whole almost a decade of time that his doctor could have given him more information, shared more with him, he's reflecting, how did I not know? How did I not understand that this was this serious? Because the thing about the liver is the liver regenerates itself. So if you find out that you have liver damage and the scarring is not to the cirrhosis point yet, you can actually reverse the damage most of the time. And that is done by your lifestyle. So most people think that you get liver disease, that you get cirrhosis from alcohol. How many people in this room think that think that's the only makeup? Most people do, and when we're out in the community, that's what we hear. But in actuality, non-alcoholic cirrhosis, transplants from non-alcoholic liver disease are now surpassing those from alcoholic liver disease. So you can get non-alcoholic fatty liver disease from your diet. The food that we eat today has changed drastically. We eat so much processed food, there is so much added sugar in food today, and it is literally killing us. It literally almost killed my dad if he would not have gotten this life-saving liver transplant. And it's a true public health epidemic. 100 million Americans today have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. 6 million kids today have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And it is because of the change in the food that we eat. Back in the 1980s, there was a big movement to take fats out of foods. So when they took fats out of foods, what they did is they replaced it with added sugar. And what happens is your liver actually metabolizes sugar, fructose in particular, which fructose is a particular type of sugar. There are various names for sugar, fructose, sucralose, I could go on and on. But what your liver does is it processes that added sugar the same way that it does alcohol. So this disease that was typically considered an alcoholic disease, a disease caused from drinking alcohol, 6 million kids today now have this disease. So as my dad again was reflecting on his journey and how he didn't know this, he came to find that his story was actually very common. Most people who are told they have fatty liver disease, the doctors don't give much information about it. In fact, the medical community just recently has been finding out more and more about this disease. And there's no treatment for it. There's no medication on the market today either, which is why it's so important to understand what you're putting in your body. So there are tests that can be done at the doctor. They're non-invasive tests. You used to have to you could only get a liver biopsy until recently. But the challenge also is, one, there's no symptoms for this disease. You might be tired. Well, my dad was 72 years old when he found out he had NASH. He just thought he was really tired from old age. So the other thing is when you go to the doctor and you get regular blood work and your typical physical, a lot of times they do not test your liver enzymes. There are certain populations or risk factors for this disease. 80% of people who have type 2 diabetes have fatty liver disease. A lot of people who are overweight have fatty liver disease. It's also very highly prevalent in the Hispanic and Latino community. There's a specific gene. So if you have any of these risk factors, you really should be asking your doctor for additional testing. There's blood work tests now. There's a test called a FibroScan where it's like an ultrasound, and they can actually scan your liver. It's so important to advocate for yourself. So what we do as a nonprofit, we are really focused on getting out there in the community and providing, raising awareness of the disease and providing education about this disease. We're a small family-run organization. I like to say we're small and mighty. My dad founded our organization. My mom's there. She runs a support group that we have. I'm our only full-time paid employee. We recently Patty retired, and I pulled her in as a part-time to help us out as well. I mean, that's our team right there. But we do a lot out in the community. We go to community events. We actually set up tables. We have information. We bring our liver. We have squishy livers. If anybody wants one, you can see me after. I'll give you one. They're great stress relievers. We have information that we hand out at the tables, and we talk to people one-on-one about this disease. This weekend, we will be at Christ Church. You will be in Sewickley at a church. Sorry, I can't remember the name. But they're having a health and wellness fair. So we go to a lot of health and wellness fairs. We like to go to community events as well. We will be at the Pittsburgh Marathon in May. They do a health and wellness expo leading up to the marathon. We'll have a table there. We did that last year. We spoke to thousands and thousands of people. We also are participating in the Highmark Walk for Healthy Community as well, if anybody wants to join our liver team for that. So we go out and we do a lot in the community, just talking to people one-on-one, and what we find is the same thing over and over. Is people like my dad, my doctor told me, they told my brother, they told my uncle, they have fatty liver, made no big deal about it. I didn't think it was a big deal until I talked to you guys. Or people say, oh my goodness, I have that type 2 diabetes, how did I not know about this disease? You hear so much in the media, you hear so much in the news about the rise of type 2 diabetes, about the rise of obesity, especially in kids, but you never hear about fatty liver tied with that, and they are totally correlated together. They're metabolic diseases. We also do a lot in social media. This year we invested in a videographer, so we're doing a lot of video in social media. We find to meet people where they are. A lot of people are online, scrolling, those quick reels, shorts. We're doing a lot of that as well. We're getting great traction. We've had so many people reach out to us, commenting, oh my goodness, I was told I had this. So we're really just trying to get out there. Our main goal is to reach people and just spread the awareness about this disease. We also, however, have a support group. So we have people that have this disease. They feel so alone. There's either that stigma, hey, you're a drinker, so people just don't understand. They don't want to tell anybody that they have the disease, so they don't tell people and they feel so alone. But we have a support group. My mom actually runs it, and Patty helps her as well. The two of them run it. And we have patients, we have caregivers that just come together. They say what happens in support group stays in support group. It was also supposed to start in 2020, right before COVID. So they made it online now. It's on Zoom, which is great because we have people from over, I think, 25 states at this point. I think over 150 people, and they just come together and they talk to one another. They don't feel alone. They share different, things that they're dealing with. And one of the biggest things that they talk about is nutrition. Because this is such a big piece of this, and this is one of the things that we're really focused on is how can you prevent and reverse this disease? There is so much noise out there today around nutrition. What should you eat? What shouldn't you eat? How can you eat healthy? How can you not? I mean, it's so hard to eat healthy in today's world. So they come together and they can talk about that. We do a lot of materials, and we're doing some cooking videos and just really trying to raise awareness of very specific things, specific changes that you can make to your diet to help improve your liver health specifically. Because the liver actually has over 500 functions for the human body. Your liver is actually the ultimate detoxifier for your body. So if you start to experience liver damage, you and your body is no longer getting rid of the toxins that it needs to get rid of. What happens is your kidneys, your mental health, your heart, I mean, your body can start to just break down. And it is just so important. And again, we're seeing the rise of this because of the change in the foods. And I want to address kids for a minute here. How many of you would have ever or would ever give your kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, whomever, an alcoholic beverage? Okay. Everyone seems really like, wow, I can't, really, I would do that? How many of you have ever or would ever give your kids a Gatorade? Soda. Juice. That is actually just like giving your kids an alcoholic beverage. If you look at the sugar content of a Gatorade, the sugar content for one bottle of Gatorade has more sugar than a kid should consume in a day. A lot of people also, they'll have an orange juice at breakfast, an apple juice, and they think, oh, it's juice, it's fruit, I'm being healthy. What happens when you drink your fruit instead of eating your fruit? What actually happens is you're actually juicing it down and you're losing the fiber. There's a doctor that we work with, and he always says anytime you juice your fruit, it's like you're drinking soda. So juice bars are becoming the rage now. People are talking about how healthy they are. Well, juice has a lot of sugar. So you might think, oh, well, I have my own juicer at home. I'm just, juicing it myself. You're losing that fiber. What happens when you eat an orange versus drinking an orange juice, that fiber actually helps your liver break down that natural sugar that is in the orange. If you're drinking that orange juice, you're losing that fiber, so then your liver's not able to detoxify it as much. So we really try to focus mostly on the prevention piece and just educate people, because people don't know about this. And it is literally killing our next generation. So what we're just really focused on doing is, again, raising awareness of this disease, not trying to scare people, but kind of trying to scare people, because we need to make a change. I mean, when you think about 6 million kids have a liver disease that has historically been an alcoholic liver disease, I mean, that is scary to me. I'm a mother myself. I have a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old. My 9-year-old son is overweight. He's like borderline pre-diabetic. And I'll be honest, at first, even after my dad's journey, I didn't take this seriously. It's so hard to have your kids eat healthy today. But the importance of it is, it could be life or death over time. So I started to take my son to a nutritionist. We're really making changes. The other thing that comes up is how expensive it is to eat healthy. And there is truth to that. However, think about the medical bills down the road, the expense to your health, the medical expenses that you can have down the road. I'm a single mom. Like I said, I'm on a very, very tight budget. I have found ways to shop that perimeter of the grocery store, shop healthier, so that I can still be on a budget, but make sure that we're eating healthy. And again, it's not easy, but it is so critical. So as I think about our nonprofit and appreciate the time here with all of you today, just a few things that I would share is, one, as an organization, like I said, we are very small. We, this coming September will be our 5 years since we've been in existence. And I'm our only full-time paid employee. We just brought on Patty. We have a Spanish-speaking intern coming on this summer as well. I did forget to mention, as I said, we're focused a lot on the Hispanic and the Latino community. June 8th is International NASH Day. It's a huge global event. We're actually having an event at the Roberto Clemente Museum, really focused on the Hispanic and the Latino community. We have all of our materials have been translated into Spanish. We also created a Spanish language website as well to really reach this community. So what we're really looking for, is connections, just to help us get better networked and better connected with organizations within the Hispanic and the Latino community, organizations that are focused on health and wellness, Obviously, like every nonprofit here, funding is always, a big piece as well. So I would just ask you, if you think of anybody that you think after hearing this that may be a great connection for us, please reach out to me. I have my cards, I'll be sitting back there. And then I'd also encourage all of you to do what I just did recently myself. Go into your pantry, go into your kitchen, and just start looking at the food that's in there. And turn your boxes over and look at the labels. Look at the added sugar. I'm not telling you, I'm not here to like condemn you or preach, hey, we all need to start eating healthy. But you can make small changes little by little that will have such a huge impact on your liver health. And because your liver has over 500 functions for your body, you're impacting your overall health as well. So I thank you all for the time today. Gina Milioti Madison,